First of all, I want to welcome you today. Today we have Paul Schween with us, and Paul Schween's here to share with us about a very large and exciting project. I understand that you're going to Israel in support of the Restoring Courage tour for Glenn Beck.
Absolutely. It is. It's more than exciting. It's kind of a culmination of a lifetime of getting ready to get ready, and now it's showtime, and I'm really looking forward to it. This is something special.
So what are you trying to accomplish by getting all these people shipped over all the way to Israel? This is a huge project.
It's huge, and it's a monumental effort, and we're really impressed with Glenn and his people, and plumb pleased that they've given us the vote of confidence to pull together all the resources necessary to basically restore courage and honor and faith and all the things that they talk about in their programs. So we're ready. We're ready to rock.
So we're actually going over to walk the talk, huh?
Yeah. I couldn't put it any better. Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to talk the talk, but to actually show up, to take a stand, and to be serious. I mean, serious about what it is we're trying to do here. This is a lot bigger than anything I've been involved with in the past, and I certainly have done a lot of work with a lot of prolific speakers in the past, but wow, this is bigger than big. This is bigger than Glenn, and this is bigger than just citizens gathering together.
I think the thing that amazed me the most about the Restoring Honor tour was not only the huge amount of people that showed up, but the variety of different religions, races, creeds. I mean, there was a oneness that I don't think I've ever seen in America from a non-politician, I should say.
Right. No, you nailed it right on the head. The fact that he was quite the opposite of what people imagined. Divisive was the last thing. It was unity. It was bringing people together from every different religion, race, and creed, and for them to all come together peacefully. I tell you, the protractors, or the detractors, I should say, they were just locked and loaded to see violence and to see the Tea Party rear its ugly head.
Controversy, adversarial behavior.
And
I can imagine.
It was anything but that. That Restoring Honor thing that he did last year.
That's phenomenal.
It was. I mean, to think that he could pull that many people together.
Was it 500,000 people?
It was close to. I think they've argued since day one on what the numbers were. All gathered for one cause, for one purpose, and that was to restore honor. And now he's taking it to a new level.
I think it's amazing. No one expected the kind of unity. I mean, it's almost like a kumbaya fest when everybody came together. No hustle bustle, no negativity, no negative press, no street brawls, no fighting. I mean, how did he? It's like someone waved a magic wand and everybody got along.
And the thing that surprised me as an onlooker is that the people were, boy, maybe I'll use the word obedient. The speakers, they didn't politicize their message. They didn't forward a personal agenda. Everybody allowed the cause to be the focus.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to see here in Israel.
Well, so this is not a U.S., not just a U.S.-Israeli relations campaign. This isn't just a let's be a spokesman for the U.S. And certainly we're not going to instill courage in Israel. Israel's got more courage than probably any nation in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think it's clear to say that it's bigger than just a visit for public relations.
Well, it certainly has the potential, and the way I see it as an insider on the way Glenn and his people are posturing themselves as they ramp up for the event, they're going to do just the same they did with Restoring Honor. And it truly has the potential, and time will only tell, but this has the potential of really transcending socioeconomic and political lines.
Wow.
And how often does that really happen? there always seems to be somebody with an agenda, right? Where's the money coming from? Who's behind it? Who's benefit? It's always about the money, isn't it?
Follow the money.
Follow the money. And in this particular case, it just looks like there are a small collection of people that have decided that we're going to take a stand. We're going to take a stand for the right reason, and we're going to let it take its course and see really not who benefits, but what good can we do. Is it worth fighting the good fight? I hope and trust it is. At least that's why I'm in the game. That's why I want to do this, because I think this is genuinely a worthy cause.
Let me ask you a question, and I don't know what to expect for the answer, but I'm going to go ahead and throw this in here. I know this wasn't part of what we had discussed prior, but how do you think Glenn Beck's resignation from Fox is going to impact this trip, if at all?
Yeah.
Or what do you think it would mean to the people now that he's going over there, no longer working for Fox, and he's going over to Israel to... where do you think that's going? I mean, do you think it's going to impact the trip? Or?
You know, I genuinely don't know, and I wouldn't be so pretentious as to put words in Glenn's mouth, but if I understand, based on what information I saw today, and that's why I think it's always important to get your information from accurate places. Yeah. But today I heard that Glenn is launching his own TV broadcasting station, and so it may be the end with Fox, but a new beginning, an extraordinary beginning, and I really don't know how this is going to impact restoring courage in Israel, but I believe that these are pretty smart guys. I think they know what they're doing, and I think it's all going to come together really, really, really nicely. I don't know. Time will tell.
I know how we feel about it. I know how we feel the general audience is feeling about this. What do you feel that Glenn Beck and his followers hope to accomplish with this trip?
I think that it's a simple message, and I really think we can take it at face value.
All right.
When he talks about restoring courage, honor, and faith, I believe in order for him to unify the masses and bring positive change about, he is going to have to avoid the politicizing or the religious undertones that may exist in this agenda. Yeah. And I believe if he stays authentic with his message, he'll accomplish that. We can only cross our fingers. I mean, with Glenn Beck, you never quite know what you're gonna get. But I do know one thing: he's always driving for the truth. That is at the core of his message. That's his mantra. That's what this TV station touts. So I'm very confident that he wants to...
The new one.
Yeah, the new one, the GBTV. I just saw it this morning. It just broke. And it's clear to me that bringing the truth to the forefront is what he and his message are going to be about. So I'm sure that's what we can expect from this trip to Israel. What is the truth? What do those people want? How do they want Americans, or shall we say more specifically, the whole free world, get behind them in a time when it seems like they're under siege like never before? We have our own political leaders that are doing some rather interesting things, and where is it going to lead us? I don't know, but
well put.
Glenn's got to make sure that a clear message is brought to the forefront, and I can't wait. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be lots of information that comes forward between now and the event, and we'll be here to share that.
Do you believe that Glenn Beck is wanting Israel to know that the government and the people are entirely different, that don't necessarily represent the same thing all the time?
Well, I think that's a safe conclusion that many are going to make, but it'll be interesting to me to see whether or not he takes that tact, because if he does, then it begins to politicize the message. So it's really going to be interesting to see if he can walk that fine line the way he did with restoring honor.
That was magical.
Yeah.
I think it appears that he's taken a bigger overall approach. Once the politics get involved, then separation gets involved, and I don't think that's what he's looking for. But
I don't either. But I was asked about what do you think this is all about? What do you think the meaning behind it is? Isn't there a secret agenda here? Like you mentioned earlier, follow the money. Somebody's got to be making out on this thing, and I think really what Glenn and his staff are out to do is to just fight for freedom and fight for the liberties that we enjoy, and make sure that the rest of the world knows that we're not going to fade away in the wind. What is the old saying? I'm not sure who said it, but it says, evil flourishes when good men do nothing. I think this is the antithesis. This is a good men doing a big something with no other agenda other than, hey, look. Wow. Okay, this is something worth preserving. If you want to be part of bringing forth the truth, if you want to preserve freedom, if liberties are important to you, then it's showtime. Let's pull the world together. Let's not just make this about him or the United States or even Israel. This is about good, fighting for good, and I think that's just. I mean, where do we find that these days? I don't see it anywhere else. Do you?
No, I don't. This sounds like this could be a historic, and it's something people could be talking about 50 years, 100 years from now.
I think you can make this a cornerstone in your personal legacy. And can you imagine telling your grandkids, I was there. I was one of the people that stood up. I was the one that took the risk. I invested the time, the energy, and any of the other negative things that might come about from participating in something like this. Because believe you me, there's going to be many a detractor. There's going to be many people saying, why did you? What were you thinking? How come you aligned here?
Right.
And to just stand up and say, because it was the right thing to do. To me, that's courageous.
I understand it's not a small ticket item.
No.
But it is traveling across the world, so
yeah.
To be a part of a historic event. But how much does it? What is the investment for someone who wants to explore and be part of this program?
Without spending a lot of time going into detail, there are 2, 3, 4 different packages. They'll run anywhere from $39.95 up to, I believe, $59.95, depending on which of the 3 events you want to go to and how many days you actually spend there.
That includes the flight.
Yeah.
And that includes the hotel.
Hotel.
And what about when you get there? How do you get around?
Yeah, the busing. That's actually quite a logistic task to put together, and I think every bus in the Middle East is going to be there, basically moving people all over the entire country of Israel and taking in all the sites. So wow. Yeah, it really is quite a monumental task, and yeah, you do pay a premium, but is it really a premium? I mean, when you think. This is one of those, bucket list kind of things. You're going to the Holy Land, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to be there for a good cause. So I call that kind of the 2 for 1. You're not only taking in a bucket list item, but you're also not just watching history unfold. In my opinion, people are going to be making or shaping history.
When you're part of it and you're at the event,
yeah,
and you got something to talk about for the rest of your life. Yeah, that's being part of history. So is this event? I mean, once we get there, we get that we have a safe flight over. We're fed on the way over there. We land. Everything's laid out for us. We have everything planned. How long will we be there? How long will it? Can we stay afterwards, or how does it work?
So there are 3 events that Glenn is rolling out. The main event is at the Southern Wall, and there's other 2 historic sites that are going to be gathering points. Details on those are forthcoming. But as far as the tour is concerned, this is something that Voyager Travel has a great deal of experience. They've got a lot of excellent guides. As some may well know, Israel will always provide, by law, a guide as well to assist whomever the guide is that Voyager Travel provides. So you essentially are going to have 2 experienced individuals running the show from morning, noon, day, and night. And will there be time for you to do your own thing? Yeah, I imagine. But really, the tour is designed to provide people the opportunity to get an educational experience while they're there in the Holy Land.
Do you have pictures and things like this for people to look at on the website?
Yeah. There's a little breakdown on what the day-to-day activities look like. It is it's fortunate that it's a turnkey package. So when you put down your money, you're going to be taken care of from beginning to start. Flights, hotels, transportation, to and from all of the sites, and even meals. I mean, it's going to be something that you can go, relax, and just take it all in, and bring your journal, right? Bring your recorder,
your cameras,
bring your cameras,
video cameras, and
just sit back and go, wow, look at what these people are doing.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What are you and your people doing to make sure that there's safety and protection and things like that for
great
people
question.
who want to go?
Yeah, great question. Well, first and foremost, one of the things that Voyager Travel is doing is they insure every single ticket that is purchased, so people know that no matter what happens, if the event for some reason were not to take place for maybe political reasons or world conditions, you never know.
Yeah, never know.
That those investments will be protected. I know that Voyager Travel has been over there in Israel on dozens and dozens, maybe hundreds of times. They know the lay of the land. They understand how to operate within the confines of the Israeli laws, and it's been set up well. And the tours, my goodness, I mean, if people just visit our site and take a look at the different things that are going to be happening from day one through the event, and then after the event, they're going to realize that this isn't just a tour. I mean, this is going to be an experience, and it's going to culminate and I don't know what word am I looking for. It's going to come together at the pinnacle with Glenn's 3 days, and of course that main event being at the southern wall. I mean, that's one of the most sacred places on the entire planet for more than just Christians, but Muslims and Jews, and I mean, there it is. It's right there at the Dome of the Rock. It's I don't know, man.
I understand it's breathtaking.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I can't wait.
What does it matter?
What does it matter? Well, I think it's the only thing that matters. I know that might be an interesting response, but I think the freedom of the world is at stake. It's just my opinion.
It's a pretty grandiose statement.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of people are wondering, is this just going to be a big Glenn Beck show?
Or a big kumbaya or something. No, I think it's a lot more than that. I mean, without freedom, tyranny rules. And I just feel that this is a tipping point in the free world. And I believe personally that this is exactly what the world needs to see, that good will step up when it needs to step up, and this is the time. There's just too many bad things going on in the world. We need something really good, something that everybody can get behind. And we saw it not long ago, 9/11. We saw everybody come together.
Yeah.
We saw everybody decide to put their differences aside and just decide, I'm going to be an American.
Yeah.
I'm going to stand for what's right. I think this has the potential for being that kind of an event.
Without the negative trigger that caused it.
Exactly.
It'd be nice to see something positive like this take place without it being a response to a negative disaster or a negative destruction of humanity before people come together and do something. In fact, what do they say? Proper planning prevents poor performance. How does it work?
That's it. Yes. That's right.
Proper planning. It's it's more of a cause in the matter, more of a proactive approach as opposed to a reactive approach. And
it's exactly what I was going to say.
It's called foresight. We know what can happen when you wait around and do nothing. We discovered what happened in 911. But I think it's time to discover what can happen when you take preemptive and proactive action in a non-violent, non-destructive fashion. Just,
No, I'm
use
with
our
you.
minds and our souls.
No, I'm with you, and I believe that's exactly what's going to happen here. Get the right people behind it, and good things will happen.
What will people say when they learn that I supported this cause?
Well, what can be said about those that support, courage, honor, faith, and the things that the free world embraces? I think I don't think people can be critical of that. So,
pretty positive virtues.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. I mean, why would you want to get on the bandwagon against bringing those values back into our day-to-day activities? I can't imagine what a difficult time the detractors are going to have. It's not a political thing. It's not a religious thing. So it really is going to be just very interesting to see how people respond to this.
What's the best way I can get my network and my family and friends to get involved, if that's possible, and without spending a fortune? If I get a group rate or some kind of, birds of a feather flock together. So my friends think and believe the same way I do, for the most part. I mean, I've got a wide variety of friends, but most of my friends who I'm close to share my same core values, share my same beliefs about the future, what's important, what's not important, and we generally head in the same direction. But I can't take all my friends. Some people just don't have that kind of money to do it, and at the same time, this is a drop in the bucket for most of my friends. So.
Well, a lot of people want to participate one way or the other, and aside from just showing up, which is obviously the best way to support this cause,
the most memorable,
the most memorable and impactful, and a way to really shape history and make it a part of your legacy. Obviously, showing up is the best thing to do. But if you can't, there's other ways to support the cause. I know if you go to Glenn's site, you're going to find opportunities to donate to the cause. I guess you might have the ability to provide a scholarship for those that are less fortunate. Excellent. So hopefully those that have the means might be generous and help others that don't. But at the very least, we're hoping people will go to our fan page, for example, and URL or our website where we're going to provide a lot of information.
There's a Facebook fan page, correct?
Well, there's also the Facebook fan page, and just simply clicking, hey, I like this, and sharing it with other people, I think that's going to create an enormous groundswell. And I think that might, in fact, be one of the very best ways to just put in your 2 cents.
Well, I mean, on Facebook, birds of a feather that flock together are connected to each other. So I can see that getting moved around and shared with people. How do you feel this is going to affect the religious community?
Well, yeah, I think that's where
our LDS guy going over to Israel.
Yeah, wow. Think about that, I'm sure when they planned this, they were wondering how it might affect the political world, the religious world. The stability of the region seems to be in question. How about just the people of Israel? How are they going to respond? And I think these are really good and legitimate questions, but I hope and trust Glenn will do the same that he did with his event in D.C. and on the Mall, and bring unity and bring the attention to the cause and
exactly.
Just really make it not about him, not about the politics, not about religion. It'll be really, really impressive if he can do that. But if there's one person right now at this time in the world that has created a space through everything he's done in the last 2 or 3 years with his other events that have led right up to this, I think he's just got an enormous opportunity here, and I think people really sense that. Even his detractors, even those who are critical, even those who thought this event last year might be just a Tea Party gathering, and there was going to be something very political behind it. It just didn't turn out that way. And I think he's going to play that same hand.
I think that was the biggest surprise of all.
Yeah, it was.
That it didn't happen.
It didn't, and they really wanted it to happen. You know, they really needed to sink their teeth into something and say, "See, I told you," and it just didn't happen. And so, I'm crossing my fingers, and I'm sure you and I'll talk before this event again, and we'll be able to really bring some more definition and more details on what exactly we can expect. Outside of the touring and the wonderful experience of visiting the Holy Land, there's going to be something special happening in those 3 days, and that information certainly is going to come forward between now and then.
So what do you think led to nothing happening as far as it turning into a political spark or a Tea Party debate? Or how is it that nothing happened except for just unity in that last event, Restoring Honor?
Wow, what a great question. I'm sure it was primarily by design, and they really did want to walk the higher ground, and I have a feeling that that's precisely what they're going to try to accomplish in Israel. Glenn doesn't seem to have any kind of agenda where religion is concerned. I think he's more about, let me create a space, let me create a platform, let everybody come no matter what religion, what their political beliefs are, what background, doesn't matter if they're a Yankee, a Southern, a Westerner. He's just about, look guys, we have a lot of wonderful things in common. Let's leverage those things. Let's get together and let's agree on what we have in common, because there's where the power is. And there's where everyone can be passionate together. And when you get that kind of unity, you create something bigger than an event, bigger than the cause. You're about affecting change in the world, and we're at that space. We're in that place right now, and I say it with a little tongue in cheek, but God bless Glenn Beck. Let's let him be the leader. Let's not worry about who's leading the pack here. We're all heading in the right direction. So let it be, right? Amen. Let it be, and let's see what happens.
Everyone's entitled to their own personal relationship with God, and however they see it. And,
well said, because that's exactly right. This is their chance to experience the event in whatever manner their religious roots will allow for.
And another step in the right direction for taking a stand for courage, restoring courage. Restoring courage has also got to be about people's rights to enjoy and devote their religion. Religious beliefs to whatever they feel.
I'm so glad you said rights, because for me personally, I feel that it's my right and privilege to participate in this. I don't think it's about necessarily the American way. I don't think it's necessarily about the Israeli way. I think it's about collectively our right of way. Exercise our rights as free people, and explain to the rest of the world that, look, this is it. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. Please come join us peacefully, not from a place of.
It sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, at the very least.
I mean, moving, fun, exciting, memorable, historical,
unique. It's going to be a unique experience.
What about our Canadian friends?
Love them.
Can Canadians go?
What was it? I believe the Prime Minister there actually was championing the cause. I think you might have it on our website as well. I remember he had some wonderful things to say. In fact, I believe if you go to our Facebook fan page, we have a downloadable file that talks about all the different people over not the last 10 or 20 years, but over the last 200 years that have said magnificent things about the Israeli people and their plight and their courage and their desire to preserve their God-given right. People got to download that. That's just like the coolest thing.
Well, as an American, how can I expect to be treated in Israel?
Well, I personally haven't been there yet, so I'm going to find out firsthand when I get there. But I'm told for the most part that the Israeli people really do embrace American tourism, at the very least. But I believe now that, based on the fact that Glenn Beck went to Israel, he talked to the key people in the community, then came back 2 weeks later and announced this. I would bet dollars to donuts that he's got their full undivided attention and support. So if they're in support, Americans are in support, it can't help but be a win-win. But if I may, I think it's about more than that. I think it's about citizens supporting citizens. You know, it's not just the politics. It's not about the religion.
That's the message right there.
Yeah.
Citizens supporting citizens. I only asked that question because a good friend of mine just got back from Israel. He was there for almost a month filming the most beautiful sites, most historic sites of all times. You know, and some of the footage that I saw was just breathtaking. And he told me that he felt safer in Israel than he did in New York City because of, well, he says, yeah, there's armed people everywhere, but they treat Americans like gold because, think about it, we've done a lot of good things for each other. America's done a lot of good things for Israel. Israel's done a lot of good things for America.
No,
so I think a lot more people from America will be going to Israel, and I think that as we should, we have so many commonalities. Yeah.
Well, many people worldwide have their religious roots, you know, planted right there at the heart of Israel and in Jerusalem, and this is a chance to gather in that place and do some good.
It is, it's groundbreaking. What I'm hearing here is historical.
Interesting. Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. I mean, this is something that we may never see again, and if people don't seize the opportunity now, the way things are in the world, we may never see an event like this again.
It'd be something fabulous to talk about for years to come after an experience like that.
Yeah, yeah. I remember, I think we talked earlier about you know, the 2 for 1. 3 for 1, 4 for 1. I mean, check off something on the bucket list, right? Get on down there, see the Holy Land, and see it at a time where, you know, where the world is changing, and we get a chance to actually participate in that. That's, I mean, what is that? I mean, that's huge.
What I like about this is that 8/24 is on the calendar.
Yeah.
Someday is not actually on the calendar.
No.
So the bucket list.
No, it's showtime.
You get it done out early.
Right.
Yeah, that's.
No.
No one said you can't get it done early.
You cannot. There are too many people living on someday I'll. You know, someday I'll get around to it, right? Someday we're going to do. No. It's showtime, and you're either going to show up. You know, you're either a pretender or you're the real deal, and we're going to find out real quick.
Right.
You know who's who.
Well, there's a limited seating anyway, and I think that the most committed people will be on that plane that day, and. I'm not taking away from anyone who doesn't make it. I'm just saying that the most committed people to that experience, to that event, to that being a part of history, will be on that plane. Period. Action is putting it in your calendar.
Yeah.
And booking the flight and getting there, and when you land, and you know you're in the most sacred land in the world. And you're a part of it.
Yeah.
It's like, you know.
Absolutely.
I'm coming today.
No, it was great. Appreciate you having me. I'm sure we'll do it again.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me.
You too.